What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I want to talk about spin. Spin is one of the most misunderstood concepts in disc golf. How does spin affect the disc? Is more spin better? Is less spin worse? I want to talk about all of these different things today and show you guys why I've changed my grip to actually get less spin in certain situations and how it's actually helped my game to intentionally reduce spin to achieve a certain result. So the first thing that I want to talk about is grip. Grip has been a very hot topic on this channel and tons of other channels. And what I've been doing is focusing on having an extremely front-loaded grip. I'm actually doing a power grip, basically with my front two fingers, and then fan gripping my other two fingers. And what this has allowed me to do is put a lot of pressure on my thumb, a lot of pressure on these two fingers. When the disc comes out of my hands, it kind of has this very specific point on the front part of the disc where I'm getting a lot of spin and a lot of snap on the disc. And I was fairly happy with this until I was throwing the other day and I was like, I'm just going to do the Lazat fan grip. I'm going to go straight up fan grip. There's a lot of players that throw really far that throw fan grips. And I noticed that my disc was getting significantly more turn on almost every shot. And then I had to start changing the discs in my bag because I was turning everything over. And I was wondering, like, what the heck is happening? Like, power grip goes farther, more spin, right? And that wasn't necessarily the case for me. So I did a little bit of experimenting and I went over to the Tech Disc throwing simulator with a goal of trying to understand what exactly is going on here.
So this is the Tech Disc Simulator. You can put in whatever throwing stats you want, and it's going to show you exactly how the disc is going to fly and then how far it's going to fly. All we're going to do with today's purposes, everything in here is pretty average. We're just going to change the spin rate. So with an average spin rate, we get a relatively straight flight with a fade at the end, which makes total sense. So now we're going to add super spin rate, 1600, nothing else changes except the disc is spinning faster. We're getting substantially more fade on the disc. We're getting much more right to left movement. This disc is fading a lot harder at the end. Now we are going to reduce the spin rate all the way, just to give you an extreme example so you can see how it actually affects the flight. And now all of a sudden we haven't changed anything. We haven't gained or lost arm speed, but now our disc is turning. And this is where things get really interesting for me. And I think we can unlock some new shot shapes by changing our grip to reduce spin to get the desired result. So maybe dropping your spin by nearly 1,000 may not be a good move, but dropping it just a little bit, and now we're getting a much straighter flight, which when you're playing wooded courses, especially like they're playing at Maple Hill, they want to keep the disc straight. Maybe using a technique like this down the line could help increase the skill gap for disc golf. And yeah, I just wanted to go over all this because I found it really interesting. Let's get back to the rest of the video.
So now that we've gone over everything in the simulator, we're going to do some throws here and tell you why I think this information is really helpful and how I've used this to have a much better and more consistent control over my hyzer flips and my turnover shots. So now for especially with my slower discs, mid-ranges putters, I'm going with a full-on fan grip. And the reason being is getting away from this front-loaded grip is going to reduce the amount of spin and gyroscopic stability on the disc, making it a lot more easy for me to get hyzer flips, turnover shots, and I don't really have to force the lines as much because the disc having less gyroscopic stability is going to just find those lines more naturally. All right, so I have a small stack of discs here. We're going to throw a few shots with the fan grip and yeah, just show off kind of how discs are flying for me with a fan grip. I'm finding it so much easier to get my discs to go just absolutely dead straight like that. Not only with putters and mids, but also fairway drivers and distance drivers, I'm getting more turn as well. The other big change that I've noticed is I'm getting essentially no snap. And I have a whole other tangent about snap that I can go into that I think I'll save for another video. We've got an overstable mid-range here. Gonna probably fly the exact same, very just more straight because I'm not getting quite as much spin as I was before. And that disc typically for me is getting a lot more fade than that. It's a 0 turn with a 2 fade. And with that fan grip reducing the spin, I'm getting a much straighter flight, less gyroscopic stability, and less fade at the end. We've got a Discraft Passion here, so more understable fairway driver, but a fairway driver nonetheless. I'm having no problems getting discs kind of up to speed with this grip either, but it's literally, I have no fingers under the rim. Everything is just completely sprawled out. So show you guys how the Passion flies here as well. Getting such sort of easy and straight, consistent flights. And I've never heard another person talk about this and why it might be a good idea on those turnovers and hyzer flip and straight shots to intentionally reduce your spin with a fan grip to get a straighter or more understable flight. And that's just a Yeti AVR. Those are, again, pretty stable for me as far as putters go. But having no problem to get it to hold dead straight by using the fan grip. We have one last disc. We've got a nice Buzz SS. This one also is pretty stable for a Buzz SS. This will be the last disc we throw, and then we'll do a breakdown. But I'm absolutely loving the way that discs are flying with a fan grip. And it's definitely going to be something that I continue to practice with, not only with the slower discs, but also with distance drivers that might be a hair too overstable for me. If I reduce the spin, I also reduce the stability. And especially like the new time lapses, those are going to be very stable. I'll probably go with a fan grip on those, get as small amount of spin as possible. And I might actually be able to get that thing to hyzer flip, turn a little bit, hold the line a little bit longer than with my pinch grip. Adding all that spin just going to make it that much more overstable. One other notable thing with this experiment of reducing spin, I think my arm speed is relatively the same, and I was still getting basically the exact same distance as I was before. But I think this is a really useful skill to have for, again, if you want to encourage more turn or more hyzer flip, or for me, it seems more straight flights. This could be something worth trying for you guys. I won't lie, it feels pretty uncomfortable at first, especially with putters. But once you get used to it, it's actually quite fun to do and quite a good skill to have. Again, turnover shots, hyzer flips seem to be a lot easier, and I haven't sacrificed any distance. I've never really been able to get from here beyond that golf green, and a really good shot for me gets onto the golf green with a distance driver. And I was doing exactly that with a fan grip literally just yesterday, and that's with only like 4 or 5 days of throwing with the fan grip on everything. So I guess we'll throw a few turnovers so you guys can see how I'm using the shot, and then we'll wrap things up. There's nothing nicer than just a good, clean, turning putter shot. We got a Discmania link here. Should get a little bit more turn out of this guy. But again, I just 20 feet short of the golf green with a putter. My distance driver's getting to a similar zone. Overstable mid-range. I also think there's a chance that discs are going to dump less. Like, all that gyroscopic stability kicks in, the disc is spinning really fast. It's going to want to dump sooner. These lines feel like they're really kind of pushing and stretching the distance before they fade. Buzz SS. Definitely some releases are feeling better than others. We got one last disc. We got the Passion here. I'll try and unleash on this one a little bit harder. Yeah, anyways, going with the fan grip to reduce spin on purpose, I think it might be a way to access different and unique flights from what you're used to, especially if you use a 4-finger power grip, any front-loaded pinch grip. These grips are going to add a lot more spin and will inevitably change the way the disc flies. I'm basing this totally off the Tech Disc Simulator, knowing what it's talking about. I trust the simulator. It seems like they know what they're doing over there. I don't have a tech disc yet, but I plan on getting one in the near future. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. I don't really think there's any videos that explain it in this way. So I wanted to generate a new discussion on grip, why it might be a good idea to reduce spin on purpose. And yeah, anyway, comment down below. You guys are watching Iceberg TV. I have a code at Disc Golf Deals USA down below, save 10%. And you can save 20% over at bergsdiscsports.com. So there's a link down there as well for that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care.